Welcome back, yarners. Make sure you like and subscribe right now before you forget. Alright, what we are doing right now is the last round for this tiger. You're going to do a stitch and then a decrease stitch. So 1 and 1, 7 times for a total of 14 stitches. And then we're going to stuff and fasten off. And we're going to, most importantly, leave a long tail. That's very important. You don't want to not do that. Okay. So we're going to roll with the punches. If I mess up, I mess up. I'm not going to do this 15 times because we're at the end here, and if I mess up too much, it'll start to fray and it'll look really bad. So let me position my light bulbs. All right, yarnage on the right. We're going to be good, not naughty. It's getting close to Christmas. We are going to make sure we mark the first stitch of the round. I don't know why that looks so stressed, like it was super bent. Okay. Now decrease. Now stitch again. This thing. And now decrease. And I can go over again my little trick, just in case you didn't see one of the previous videos on where to put the hook next after your decrease stitch. So hold on, we have 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yeah. So starting with the new pattern, if you can't figure out where the next one goes, because you know it looks like this, it's a little confusing. As if you're doing an increase stitch, I always talk about the legs. So the leg leads down here, and then you're gonna go into that next hole where there's like just one string, and then that V is where you would go in next. And I'm not sure where my green stitch marker went, so we're going to mark it like that. And then, just to prove a point, we're going to go ahead and mark the one after that. So that would be your first stitch. And then you would do a decrease, and then you would do a first stitch again. So this is kind of 2 different ways to figure out. I want to make sure that this looks... I want to try to make sure the yarn is more from the back. Okay, so that would be the next stitch right here. And then you would do a decrease stitch. Obviously, you never go back where that's pulling. You never go back into that one when you're doing regular stitches. But so here is the decrease stitch. And then see, we marked where that next stitch goes so that we don't have to worry about it. Where's my needle? So this goes down into here, and again, you don't do that next single piece of yarn, you do this. So it's a good little tip if you're having trouble knowing where the next one goes. All right, so we're going to decrease again. And the regular stitch. Decrease. Regular stitch. Decrease. Regular. And then last decrease. And then we need to make sure that there's 14. Of course, you're gonna give me some trouble. Okay, let's make sure there's 14. Remember, stitch markers, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then 14 is always the last, the string. Okay, so now we're going to stuff them. Just going to show you real quick, and maybe or maybe not, you've seen that video of my cat. I made it into a short. It's in this playlist. I lock this in here. If you watch that video, you see why it's like 30 seconds or so. Okay. Okay, so the stuffing. Actually, you know what? We're going to fasten off first. So what fasten off means is, it said long tail, so when I take that quite literally whenever they say that, because what you're going to do with the tail is you're going to end up sewing it onto something. So basically the bigger the piece is, the longer the tail I leave. So if it was an ear, it'd probably be 1/4 of the size. So now what fasten off means is that you would, just a regular fasten off, not an invisible. A regular fasten off means you're gonna pull this through all the way. You're not gonna do anything else. You can take this off and you're done. Okay, so when it comes to the stuffing, sometimes you want to separate it so that it's not, so it doesn't look like it's bulging in a weird area. Now, I have been known to leave cute little notes or a little memorabilia stuff inside. Like I've put my kid's baby sock in theirs before, with little notes and stuff. Hopefully they never find them, because then that means they ripped them open somehow, but they know what's in there. And it did say stuff firmly, so we're gonna do that. Now, one thing you want to avoid is too firmly, because then you'll start seeing the stuffing coming out of that, and it's pretty bad when that happens. There's not really a way to fix it, because if you try to pull it, it only pulls more through. So you just want to kind of, and the reason why this is like this, just so you know, is because my cat did run off with all these little pieces, and I found these pieces all throughout the house, and then I put them back in the bag, and that's actually why they look like that, because they're not really packaged like that. So now what you generally want to do is probably look at the picture, the final picture of what it's supposed to look like, just to kind of verify about how much it looks stuffed. But anyways, that's the end of the head. We'll start, I believe, on the ears next.